All right, I am here with Aaron Scott, who's an admissions counselor at Butler University. Aaron, thank you for joining me.
Of course, thanks for having me.
All right, so we're in Franklin. We're close to Indianapolis. Indianapolis has Butler, so a lot of our students know where Butler is and a little bit about Butler. But why don't you fill us in on Butler? Just give us some information and why a student would want to attend Butler
Yeah,
University.
of course. So we're a private liberal arts university located just about 10 minutes northwest of downtown Indianapolis. So we have over 85 different majors to choose from, Division I sports, kind of some of our unique features that you don't typically see at a small to mid-sized university. So we have about 4,500 undergraduate students currently on campus. So a lot to choose from. I would say just the kind of why should the student choose Butler if they're looking for, a small, tight-knit university community. It's kind of like a family feel on Butler's campus, which is really nice. And they have so much to choose from. So kind of that big school feel in terms of unlimited resources. Like I said, Division I sports, a great community as well.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful campus too.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so with what kind of students, I guess, are you looking for as far as the potential students that you have, and then what are some of the admissions to get into Butler?
So we're looking for, I would say the best way to put it is just a well-rounded student. So we have, students that are involved in all different types of things. We're not looking for, one specific type of student, just someone who's really, been involved in multiple things throughout high school. So that could be athletics, it could be volunteer work, it could be jobs, different student organizations, clubs, just well-rounded. And then of course in terms of academics, so someone who has challenged themselves throughout their 4 years in high school, and then looking ahead, someone who's looking to get involved at Butler. I think it's about typically like 95% of our students are involved in at least one student organization. So someone who's wanting to continue their involvement and also challenge themselves in the classroom.
Yeah. And you do have some pretty rigid standards. They got great academics there. What are some of the requirements to get accepted into Butler?
So we don't have any minimums as far as our like GPA, ACT, and SAT goes, but we offer a middle 50%. So this is giving students an idea of what we, in the Office of Admission, what we're looking for in terms of an incoming student. So the middle 50%, it's posted all over our website as well, so students can go back and reference it. But it's about, for GPA, it's about a 3.6 to a 4.1 on a weighted scale. That's typically what we're looking for. And then, but again, that's not a minimum. So 25% of our admitted students fell below, 25% were above. We are test optional, so students don't have to submit the ACT or SAT, but if they want to, we also give a middle 50% for that. I'm referencing my notes over here. Our ACT falls between a 25 to 31, and then the SAT 1170 to 1330. So again, not minimums, but just an idea of what we're looking for in a student.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that if you have kind of the below the middle 50, it would be more ideal to submit your SAT scores, especially the higher they are. Would that be accurate, or is that totally false?
It honestly depends on the student. So I can't say like one way or the other what would be, every student's individualized. So it really depends on their academic performance. Something to keep in mind, I would say in general, since we are test optional, is if a student doesn't submit scores, that places a little bit more weight on their GPA. So you can use our middle 50% for both components. If your GPA is like out of this world, in that top 25%, you may look at your SAT or ACT scores a little bit different within our middle 50%. The other way then, if your GPA is well below, your SAT or ACT scores may actually help, even if they are not necessarily like in the top 25%. So it depends on every student. There's not really one way to put it and one way to look at it, but we're test optional, for a reason. Every student's different. Not every student can show that they're a great student through their standardized testing scores. So every student has an opportunity to, show us their best academic performance in various ways.
Okay, I got you. Now, with your, and this may be a little bit tougher because Butler, I know, is kind of a bigger school per se as far as the schools that it offers. But what are some of the schools, the different majors and stuff that you have that you think need highlighted? And also, what are some of them that may have different admissions requirements?
Yeah. So some of the, I would say, more popular majors, just in general, the Lacey School of Business, one of our colleges, every year it's growing, very, popular among our first year students as well, very common major. And as it should be, it has a really, it's a really wonderful school with great experiences for students. A few others that stand out: biology is really popular among the first year students, especially students that are interested in preparing themselves for like the medical field or medical school. Psychology is really growing as well, and we've kind of put in a brand new psychology area in our new sciences complex. And then our pharmacy program and health sciences as well. So we have the PharmD programs, a 6-year program on campus. And then health sciences is a wonderful program to prepare for students for our PA program, physician assistant studies. It's a master's program, as well as, again, any students that are interested in like medical school, dental school, furthering their education.
Yeah. And are those, if you're accepted to Butler, you're accepted to those schools, or do they have different admissions requirements?
So they don't necessarily have different admission requirements. You apply with all of the same information, but I will say they can get a little bit more rigorous as far as what we're looking for in a student. So, for example, health sciences, it's one of our most competitive majors on campus. So we are as well as biology and those science-based majors, math-based majors, we're going to look more closely at students, academics in terms of, have they taken 4 years of math and science, even if it's not required by the high school? Have they taken some of those, dual credit courses if they have the opportunity, or AP courses? So challenging themselves in the classroom in that way. And then again, if they submit scores, what do their math scores look like in terms of the standardized testing? So there's certain areas that we look at a little bit more closely when it is like a science or math-based major. But with engineering as well, engineering is one of those programs that's really unique. We have a partnership with Purdue University. So we're looking at, maybe specific math classes that students have taken, or again, how they've challenged themselves in the classroom.
So it's not necessarily like different admissions to get into the school itself, but there may be higher admissions to get into Butler. Is
Yes.
kind of what I'm hearing. So
exactly, yes. So regardless of the major or program, we do admit students directly into that program. So like if you apply pharmacy, you're admitted directly into that program. If you apply biology, same thing. You don't have to come to Butler and then reapply for those programs.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like everyone who applies for that program is a direct admit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. So lastly, for this is the cost. The obviously cost for college is a big thing. And so what is the cost to attend Butler? And I know everyone's told me the cost is not the cost. So what kind of financial aid and things are offered to Butler students to help with that?
Yeah. So currently our, do you want actual numbers for tuition as well?
Yeah, give it all to me.
Raw numbers. Okay.
Give it all to me.
So our tuition right now is $43,470 as we move into this, or actually during this current school year. And then we have like fees and estimated housing. Those are going to change depending on the student, obviously where they live on campus, and if they live on campus, things like that. So yes, like you said, definitely don't let that cost, steer you away from Butler. There's definitely opportunities to help with that cost. And we have scholarships available for students, obviously financial aid as well. So every student that applies to Butler is automatically eligible and considered for academic scholarships. They range typically from about $15,000 to $24,000, and they're renewable for all 4 years. So that can definitely help with the cost of tuition. And then we have additional scholarships available too. So they're application based. Students actually they have to apply by early action, and then they have to apply for those separate scholarships. So they stack on top of each other to go towards tuition. Our Morton Finney Diversity Scholar Award can really make a huge impact for students as well. It typically ranges from $5,000 all the way up to full tuition. So, and we give out several awards each year. So it can really make a big difference for students. And then with financial aid, of course, filing the FAFSA. It's not a requirement, but we do encourage all students and families to file the FAFSA. That'll make them eligible for, at Franklin, state aid as well as federal aid. And then we call it institutional aid. So we offer Butler grants, Butler awards, basically free money that we can give to our students and families to help with that cost of education. So we're always encouraging students and families, file the FAFSA. That way you can really maximize that total aid amount.
And I'm assuming you would recommend students apply by November 1st, probably.
Yes, absolutely. So applying by November 1st will maximize scholarship opportunities, but also maximize admission opportunity. It gives them the best opportunity for acceptance if they're applying by November 1st.
I gotcha. Okay. So lastly here, take us back to when you were going through this process, Aaron, in high school, trying to figure it all out. What do you wish you knew then that you know now about the college admission and application process?
A lot, but I would say I think the number one thing is I did not take enough time to do it. So starting early, but also do as many college visits as you can. It can be difficult to, leave school. I know a lot of high schools allow for some college visits. That is, I think, the most important thing, to get on campus. And there's so many virtual opportunities available now too, just to kind of introduce you to different colleges and universities. But really stepping on campus, whether it's at Butler or somewhere else, sometimes it just takes that to know, absolutely not. This is not the college for me. Sometimes you get there and you're like, wow, I really love this place. I need to look at their actual programs. I need to dig a little bit deeper. So my biggest recommendation, what I wish I would have done, and I definitely did not, is just taking the time to visit colleges, at least even if it's an unofficial visit, just getting on campus. I think talking to current students is wonderful as well. Obviously, as the student's admission counselor, I can provide them with a lot of facts, all of the information they want, connect them with faculty and staff. But sometimes hearing from our current students really gives them the best perspective, just to hear, this is what it's like on campus. This is how I got involved in this opportunity or that opportunity. So we're always happy to connect students and, give them the best college search they can have. It can be a really overwhelming process, obviously. So.
And then once they're accepted, reach out to you and get those scholarships, right? Get those information.
Yeah. So with the scholarships, since they're automatically, basically, eligible and reviewed, if they're accepted on their acceptance letter, they already will get their academic scholarship. So that can help in the college search, knowing right away if you can, continue to consider Butler, for example, as an option. Financial aid is a little bit delayed. Typically, it's not until February when they know. But check your email. We send so many emails at Butler. We're really good about keeping students in the loop. So as long as students are checking their email, they will not miss deadlines to apply for scholarships, application deadlines, things like that. We are really good about reminding students.
Good. Yeah. So just making sure they're doing their due diligence and getting on campus.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Once again, Erin Scott, admissions counselor at Butler University.
Well, thank you so much.